Hey everyone. Today we're diving into an ancient and, honestly, pretty surprising path to mental clarity that comes straight from Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. It's a technique that kind of flips the script on the whole try harder mentality. Instead of intense effort, it's all about a deep, profound release. So let's get into it. You know that feeling, right? You sit down to meditate, you're ready to find your zen, and then, boom, your mind is just going a million miles an hour with to-do lists, worries, you name it. The journey to a quiet mind can feel like a really, really long road. So that begs the question, a question yogis have been asking for centuries. Is there another way? Is there maybe a more direct path to that deep, peaceful state that is the whole goal of yoga?
Well, the great sage Patanjali offers this stunningly simple alternative. Right after he talks about the path of intense, focused effort, he just drops this little bombshell in Sutra 1.23, or by devotion to Ishwara. And this one line opens the door to a massive concept called IshwarPranidhan.
Okay, so what is this IshwarPranidhan thing, anyway? Well, it's the practice of completely surrendering to a higher consciousness, which the sutras call Ishwara. It's about dedicating all of your actions, and this is the key part, letting go of your attachment to how things turn out. It's about trusting in a wisdom that's way bigger than our own. Right, so that naturally leads us to the next big question. If this path is all about devotion to Ishvara, then who or what is Ishvara exactly, according to this ancient text? And Patanjali is super precise here. He doesn't leave it vague. Ishvara isn't just any old consciousness. It's a special, supreme consciousness, a Purusha Vishesh, that is completely 100% untouched by all the stuff that causes us to suffer.
I mean, look at this. Ishvara is free from the kleshas, those mental roadblocks like ego and ignorance. It's not touched by karma, the whole law of action and consequence. And it's free from asha, those deep, hidden desires that are always driving our behavior. Basically, Ishvara is playing a totally different game, completely outside the cycle of suffering that the rest of us are caught in.
But wait, there's more. Ishvara's uniqueness isn't just about what it's free from, it's also about what it has. Patanjali goes on to describe the quality of its knowledge, and it is absolutely next level. The sutra says the seed of omniscience in Ishvara is unsurpassed. Now, the Sanskrit word here is niratishaya, which is this amazing word that basically means it's perfect and complete. You can't add to it, you can't take away from it. This knowledge is absolute. It covers the past, the present, the future with zero limitations. And that, right there, leads to the final, and maybe the most crucial piece of this puzzle. Because this consciousness has this perfect, timeless knowledge, it plays a very, very specific role in the universe.
This is why Ishvara is called the guru of all gurus. It makes perfect sense, right? It isn't limited by time. It was there before creation. It'll be there after everything dissolves. And get this, at the very beginning of our cosmic cycle, it was Ishvara who taught the highest knowledge to the first great sages. It's the original source, the fountainhead of all wisdom.
Okay, so we've got a pretty good picture of what Ishvara is. But the question is, how do we actually connect with this supreme consciousness? How do we tap into that?
And again, Patanjali doesn't just leave us hanging. He gives us a very specific tool, a denoter, or a word for Ishvara. In Sutra 1.27, he says, Tasya vachakaha pranavaha. What this means is that the sacred syllable Om, also known as pranava, is the word that represents Ishvara. It's considered the primordial sound, the fundamental vibration that the entire universe is made of. It's like the whole cosmos is constantly humming this one name.
So, we have the name. But just knowing the name isn't enough, right? The very next thing Patanjali does is tell us exactly how to use this primordial sound as a real practice.
And man, is Patanjali clear on this point. The practice, which is called japa, is not about just mindlessly repeating a sound over and over. It's about chanting Om while deeply thinking about its meaning, while feeling its connection to that supreme consciousness. He basically says if you're just repeating it without any feeling or understanding, you're wasting your time. It's just noise.
And this practice, it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. It actually unfolds in stages. It starts with vachika, which is chanting out loud. Then it gets more subtle with upamshu, a soft whisper just for you. From there, it goes totally silent and mental with manasika. And then you reach this incredible final stage called ajapa japa, where you're not even trying anymore.
The repetition just happens, effortlessly, humming along in the background of your consciousness, constantly keeping you connected. So, what's the payoff? Why do all this? What do you actually get from this practice of surrender and meaningful chanting? Well, Patanjali tells us there are two huge, profound results.
First off, this practice just clears the path. All that stuff that gets in your way on the spiritual journey, the doubt, the laziness, the distractions, this practice helps sweep it all aside. And second, it leads to the realization of your inner self. Your consciousness, which is normally pointing out at the world, finally turns back in on itself, a state called pratyak chetana, and that's when you get to experience your own true, pure nature.
And the really cool thing about this is that it's not just for when you're sitting on a meditation cushion. You can practice this kind of surrender every single day. Dedicate your work to something bigger than yourself. Do your absolute best, and then let go of the outcome. You can turn even boring tasks into acts of devotion, which is an amazing way to overcome fear and worry, because you're building this deep sense of trust.
There's a line from one of the source texts that just says it all, really. Blessed is the life that is completely surrendered. That simple, profound statement just perfectly captures the kind of freedom and peace this path is all about.
So, we'll leave you with a thought to reflect on. In a world that is constantly screaming at us to hustle, to grind, to put in more effort, what do you think the ancient art of surrender could unlock for you? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.